Hello.
Hi, is this Caroline?
It is Caroline, yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Let me do the official introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so excited to welcome our featured guest. She is a model and an actress and someone who especially science fiction, horror, and fantasy fans know by name. We're very thrilled to welcome the one and only Caroline Munro. You're on the air with Terry and Tiffany. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. What a lovely introduction. Thank you very much. It's really nice. Thank you. Gosh. Yes, lovely to speak to you.
This is a really special thing for me, Caroline, because we spent so much time together at the drive-in. I mean, you were on the screen. But
I like that.
your husband's the luckiest man on earth.
I'm sure he wouldn't say that, but that's very nice. Thank you.
Wow, you was talking to Tiffany before you come on, because we always give our warning call and make sure people's ready. And you were talking about the fact of this great movie you've got coming up, House of the Gorgon, and the three ladies that are known for the great Hammer films. And you said something that I really never thought about. You three have never worked together before. We've
never worked together. We know each other so well, but we've never worked together. And I'm so excited. It's just, it's kind of like this. I was going to say it sounds a bit like Macbeth, the Three Witches, but not. It'll just be a lovely getting together, and we're being reunited. Well, I'm being reunited with Christopher Neame too.
Yes.
So I'm so excited about this project. Really, really am. And the girls, So yes, all set to go.
Well, I wanted to mention, and maybe you can tell our listeners a little bit about it. I mean, not only is it you and Martine Beswick and Veronica Carlson and Christopher Neame, but it's also someone who is an offshoot of Hammer royalty, if you will. Your daughter is going to be in the film, right?
Yes, she is, actually. Yes, Georgina, she so is. So I think she's really excited. She's actually just rushing off to work now. She's going off to work as we speak. She's prepping for another film. She's doing the costume. She's a costume designer, so actress stroke costume designer. So she's a girl of many talents, I think. And she's lovely.
Now, you actually have two daughters, is that right?
I do. Iona is the other one, and she's a very talented artist, stroke musician. So she's going to be accompanying us when we fly over to Texas in March next month.
Wow.
Golly, so it's not long to go. Oof, that gets me a bit nervous, in a good way.
Well, I just need to prepare you. I was telling Martine, where you're going to make the movie, it's very hot. It's very warm.
Is it?
Yeah.
What, in March?
Yeah, well, it will be. It's about like the boiler room that you were stuck in Starcrash. It'll be that hot. So.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that well.
we got an email from a listener, and she was like, wasn't that the greatest costume to wear in prison? I said, well, it was hot. So.
It was very. It was actually, yes, it was kind of hot and steamy. That was the whole idea. But yes, very impractical costume, may I say to your reader. There were a lot of sort of stunts and running around things, and I had to get used to the costume, which took a little bit on my part, because I thought I was going to wear a fantastic space outfit, and when I arrived, the Italian designer said, no, he said, this is your costume. I said, well, what do I wear over the top? He said, no. He said, that is your costume. So that was it. That was Stella Starr's costume.
Compared to the other small, skimpy costumes you've had, I'm really sorry, and I want to apologize that none of the producers really cared if you were cold or not.
No, not really. Well, yeah, it's typical. and you're always shooting in the height of summer, and you're wearing hot clothes, and vice versa.
Wow.
You know, we worked on, especially on Starcrash, we worked all over Italy, and mainly in Cinecittà, which is the big Italian film studio, but we worked in the north of England, in the mountains, and a few of the scenes were shot there, and boy, oh boy, a lot of snow, real snow. So everything was real, and we shot on the top of Mount Etna too. It's different these days with all the CGI. We actually went to these places, and we shot on, I was shooting on the top of a volcano on Mount Etna. Well, so that was interesting.
It's amazing, 'cause I'm so familiar with your other work. You're at the Earth's Core and the James Bond and the Hammer and this and that. I just now saw Starcrash. I mean, I don't know, like maybe I was living under a rock, but I've always been a big Barbarella fan, and it really reminded me of Barbarella a lot.
Well, maybe that was their idea, and it was Luigi Cozzi, or Louis Coates, my lovely friend. It was his idea. I think he'd seen Star Wars and was so inspired by Star Wars, and his whole thing is fantasy, and he's a big fan of Ray Harryhausen too. So that was sort of it was his baby, and it was very tongue in cheek, obviously, and quite camp and quite over the top, and very hard work, I might add. It was incredibly hard work.
Well, hard work on top of the fact that I heard that you did all of your own stunts and choreography for the fights and all of that yourself, right?
Well, we had a fight coordinator, but pretty much yes, we did. And they added more, actually. I'd never done anything like that before. I mean, I was a pretty fit girl in those days, you know, quite used to sort of moving around and stuff. But they did. And we had, it was all, I didn't work with any stunt women. It was all stunt men. So it was quite interesting.
Well, it was interesting because you worked with a lot of, everybody was pretty in that film. I mean, you had to work with David Hasselhoff and Margot Gortner. I don't know who fought over the mirror more. I mean,
the makeup room. Well, I think the boys won that. I think the boys won that hands down. They were very beautiful, weren't they? I think David, and I loved David, had bigger hair than I did. You know, in that film, so he looked amazing. He did, and he was a joy to work with.
I just found out. As a bit of trivia, we just recently had actress Candy Clark on, who was married to Marjo, and she did the voice of the computer. Yeah,
she did the voice of Stella. That's right. She voiced Stella. I know. Which was I was saddened about, because the whole idea was that we all did our own voices, but because of distances and because of money, the production sadly ran out of money. And, you know, to fly me over, and I think Joe and Joe, the great Joe Spinell's voice was dubbed. I mean, so many of the voices were dubbed, which is such a shame, because she did a great job. Yeah. You know, she did a great job. She Americanized it really well, and she's a great actress.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't credit her for that. I mean, she's not in the credits at all. It's crazy.
No, she should have at least been credited.
Yeah.
But then I would have just, I suppose, I don't know. I was very upset.
Yeah.
At the time I was very upset, because you put so much into it. And I said, well, what accent? And Luigi said, no, and the producers, they wanted just my accent. You know, they didn't want me to try anything. Because at least I could have tried an American accent. I've done a few before, so, but still, she did a great job. And it is a really fun film, I think, to watch.
You know, Joe Spinell, I mean, he played the best kind of villain, and what is that, over the top, which was the only way to do it.
Very over the top, wasn't he? Incredibly over the top. OTT, that's right. That's the first time I met him, and it led to a really great partnership insofar as work. We got to do 3 films together, and he was a joy, and one of the best actors I've ever worked with. He was extraordinary, really, what he gave to his performances. Just astounding.
And of course, for you mentioned that you'd worked with him 3 times, and that would have been on the last horror film, and also Maniac, which has also become a rather popular cult film.
Supposedly it has. Gosh, you've really done your stuff, don't you? You two. My goodness, you really do. Yeah, again, it was a kind of a groundbreaking film, I think, at the time. I know when I flew over. It wasn't my intention to do it at all. I was just in New York at the time that they were announcing their film, Bill Lustig and Joe. And we were at a Fangoria, I think it was some sort of a show or convention, and we were talking about various stuff. And then their lead actress couldn't get over there. She was committed to another film in Italy, Daria Nicolodi, and she couldn't make it. So they were looking for somebody, and I just happened to be there. And they said they wanted somebody European. I think that was the whole idea, sort of Italian-y looking and European. So they approached me, and I thought, I don't think I can do it, because we were there on the Friday, and it starts on the Monday. I said, I don't think I can do that. But anyway, Joe's very clever persuasion, and Bill taking me to see Halloween, saying this is the kind of film.
There you go.
So yeah, extraordinary experience, wonderful.
Well, you had an interest in art. I mean, you wanted to be a photographer and all that too, and that was kind of in that period also, So.
Yes, it was. That's true. Yes, it was all. Yes, it all. I had a fascination with that when I was quite young. I started to go to art school when I was 16 because the school closed, and that was kind of the only thing I thought. Well, maybe, or my parents thought, well, maybe that's the only thing she can do. She's not very academic. Very dyslexic, incredibly dyslexic. So certain things were a bit of a struggle, at school.
Well, I wanted to ask
you.
Ask you though, because early on in your career, you have a great distinction in the fact that you worked with not only Peter Cushing, but Sir Christopher Lee and Vincent Price. All three of the kings of horror, and your one of your earliest things. I mean, you didn't have many lines, granted, but was in with Vincent Price in The Abominable Dr. Phibes, right?
I didn't have many lines at all, did I?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that was one of my most difficult parts. I would say that one most challenging. Actually, it was quite challenging because I had to hold my breath the whole time the takes were going, and that is quite hard when you're in front of a camera and you feel slightly nervous to get it right, to be as dead as you can. So it was quite tricky. Really.
Well, I know Vincent Price is a crack up and probably tried to make you laugh and maybe try, but I know you had an issue with feathers, like feathers.
Oh, I did. Oh my goodness, I did. They'd got me because myself and Vincent had to lie in the coffin because I was dead, and he wanted to lie alongside me being dead. So he had this wonderful coffin built. It was a fur-lined coffin, but not only a fur-lined coffin. They put me in this most beautiful negligee, like over a nightdress. It was beautiful, but it had all these marabou feathers, and I am incredibly allergic to feathers. But the costume department had it, and I said, "Oh, I said that's lovely." But I didn't say anything. I was so young and very naive. I couldn't say, "Oh, I'm not wearing that." Of course not. Not professional. So in I got, and it was a job not only not to breathe, but not to sneeze. So, that was quite tricky, but we managed it. We did it. We got the take. And again, he was a master, just to sit on the side of the set and listen to him talking. He had this extraordinary voice, and watch him. That's, I think, how you learn. I think you learn. I didn't have any particular formal training as an actress, but I watched some of the greats. I watched, and you sort of become like a sponge. Do you know what I mean? You can cook a sponge, and if you sit there and just watch what they do or what they don't do, and it all kind of clicks into place, hopefully.
Yes.
And the best actors too really care for the other actors and the crew and everybody. I guess Vincent used to bring in food to you guys on the set.
He brought in. He used to bring it into the makeup room. So we were there about 6:30, maybe 7. And he'd bring in, he said, "I've just made this wonderful..." I remember one morning he brought in this lovely pate. And so we had this pate, and he even brought in the bread too, and the makeup girls, hairdressers had toasters because everybody had, you call them toasters, don't you? So you put your toast in, and then we had this wonderful, exquisite pate that he'd run up the night before. Yeah. So that was he treated everybody equally and wonderfully and charmingly. It's interesting because he very often, the bigger the actor, the sweeter they are. Right. No matter if they're playing the most evil, terrible people, but they've got no agenda. They are who they are, and they appreciate it's a team effort. So I find that I love that. That to me is a whole thing about working on a film or stage or wherever you tend to work. It is the collaboration of your people, your team that you're working with.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm excited about Gorgon, because it'll be all of us.
Yes.
Are you kidding me, man? I can't wait. I mean, this young director, and thank God, I told Martine, thank God to the young directors, the indie directors that are coming out and bringing our favorite people that we grew up with back to work. And how does it feel? I mean, it's been a little while since you've done a major thing like this. Are you nervous? Are you excited?
A little while.
Yeah. How do you feel?
No, I'm incredibly nervous. I think I'm going to see Martine on Tuesday. We're going to have a bit of a read-through because we're the sisters. So we're just going to have a little bit of a read-through on Tuesday and see how it goes. Our thing is about learning the lines. Yeah. It's a problem when you get slightly older. It's a fear that you're not going to remember the lines. And because the shooting is not long, we don't have many, we don't have long to shoot it. Uh-huh. It's going to be quite important that we're on it, as well as having fun. We've got to have fun as well, which I know we will.
You probably can't tell too much about it, but I know the filmmaker is heavily influenced by Hammer, and there was a Gorgon Hammer film at one time. Is it anything like that, or is it more modern, or how could you describe it?
Well, he is a big fan of Hammer, and that was one of the first films that he saw, Joshua. And so the influence is there, and he's always interesting because he's so young, but he has such an old soul. So it's as if he's definitely been here before, so he really knows his stuff. And the script is so good. It's a really well-written script, and that's his baby. But obviously it has the influences and hopefully quite a few frights and a lot of... it'll be interesting to see how it's shot. I think he's got a good DP. So it'll be interesting to see how it all comes together. We'll do our bit, and then he's going to work his magic sort of over the top of that. But the script is good. It's got very, very well written characters, and I love my Georgina's character. She's feisty, but she's young, and she's a lovely character. It's really good. And as for us, well, we're reprobates, Martine and I. Yeah? We'll just have to see. We're going to have a play with that. We're real mavericks in this, I think. So we're just going to really do it.
Well, let me ask you. This is something that we ask a lot of our guests, and especially with you, it's a little bit different. I mean, when you've worked in films where they did the classic kind of real life tactical kind of special effects, and then you're doing a modern day film where they tend to lean more on CGI, and especially for somebody like you who worked with the legendary Ray Harryhausen. Has anybody talked about how the effects are going to be done in House of the Gorgon, and how do you feel about that? Would you rather do old school effects, or are you interested in doing the CGI?
Well, CGI is wonderful in its place. I know. I mean, I had many talks with Ray about it, and in fact, they're having a showing in the cinema next week in the big cinema, and Vanessa Harryhausen's coming down, and we're going to do a little talk together. They're showing the film, Golden Voyage. So we're going to talk about that as well. Do you know what? I think, from as far as I can see, and I think this is possibly the right approach, and they're totally different approaches. I loved the old school. I loved Hammer, and the way everything was done in front of your eyes. You could see everything, everything, especially we did a film called Dracula AD. It was all done on set. Everything was, what you saw was before your eyes. So that created it was great for the actors because they could really react in the way that you would react. And for me, that was very, very helpful. CGI, obviously, you're not going to see until it's put on after. But I think with Josh, I think what he's going to do, and I'm not too sure, he's working on things. He's a clever chap. He's film school trained, and, he's a very clever chap, and he's got a lot of good technical people around him. I'm hoping and thinking that he's going to do practical effects as well as CGI.
Oh,
okay. So to me, that would be a good combination. This is what I think, because I think if you've got a combination of both, and for me, that's the way I think Tim Burton does a lot of that.
Yeah.
I think the combination can work really well, because you're seeing the real thing, and then you're not sure if you're seeing the real thing. So the combination can make it real.
Well,
so I'm hoping that's the way it's going to go.
You're talking about. I love that you love Ray Harryhausen, and so did Martine. And
I love him.
You're actually still involved in a way because you're on the Ray Harryhausen board, aren't you?
I'm on the board. Yes, yeah. I am. Yes. I'm a kind of a trustee or a collaborative, trustee. So. Yeah, so that's very exciting. I felt really honored to be invited by Vanessa. She wanted me on board because I've known her since she was a little girl. Yeah. And she's very close with Tammy, who's the producer of the film, who's my stepdaughter, my daughter, a producer of The Gorgon, Tammy Himalayan. As I say, I feel very honored. And so they ask me various things, and and we have meetings. That the foundation has meetings, and it's just spreading his word, and also giving young people like Josh a chance to, learn Ray's ways and to get scholarships and things. So it's a really fabulous foundation. So I'm very, as I say, very honored to be part of that. Really.
Let me ask you this.
And to learn so much more about him.
Sure.
He was extraordinary. Oh my gosh, he was an extraordinary man. He was to me, he's the godfather of special effects. He totally is.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Definitely. Let me ask you this. This is interesting to me as a mom, okay? Because first of all, you're lucky your daughter likes what you did, because most daughters of celebrities are embarrassed.
Yeah.
and they don't like to know that their mother is anything. But to know your daughter's going to be in the film. Okay, you became the queen of fantasy. I don't care if you're embarrassed or not. You are. Everybody says that. It's true. You know the adulation you get. And I know you said it's a double-edged sword, because even though you love it, you're a very private person, and every fan thinks they know you and this and that. And sometimes it might get a little difficult, even though you love the fans.
I love people. If they come along to see us at Martine and I, we feel so, again, humbled that people bother to come and see us at shows and want to chat and, want to have a photo taken with us and stuff. It's just, I think because without the people bothering to come and see us, we wouldn't be doing this film.
No, that's for sure.
Which is just, and Josh is absolutely in love with Martine. That's his number one pin-up. So I'm grateful that I can tag along too. That's really nice to be on.
I don't even know how he's working with you ladies. I'm having a hard time just talking to you. I'm sitting here and I'm in love. And
sorry. Yeah, I do. We do talk, don't we? I know.
But as a mom, and knowing your daughter is now getting into this fantasy film thing, would you like the whole thing to start for her that did for you? And she'll be, the second queen of fantasy. I mean, what do you think about that as a life for her?
Well, I don't know. She went to university. She got a really good degree. Very different from me. I started very, very young with no training. Georgina actually went and she did a year studying drama. She went. So I was total novice. I was thrown in at the deep end, and it was either sink or swim, and I tried to swim the best I could. But with Georgina, she's trained, so she's really good. She's and she's done a few films too. She's done a few little indie films over here, which have got one written by our friend. It's a beautiful piece. It's called Becoming. There's several on the IMDb. There's several things that you can see of her, and she's good. When you see her on camera, she has a stillness to her that's really, it's very kind of mesmeric, I think. I mean, I'm very proud mother to my beautiful girls,
of course.
Obviously, but no, she definitely has something about her that's so good.
And
she's very shy and modest and sweet too, so,
wow.
Lovely.
I'm surprised that you're modest with as beautiful as you've always been. Like for instance, okay, we have a host on the station here, and he's actually from the group Redbone. They did the "Come and Get Your Love" song, was very popular.
Oh wow, yes, okay.
Okay, he's in love with you because he.
Oh.
I posted a picture of you, and I don't even know what it was from. You're wearing
It was from. Somebody posted it on your Facebook page, Caroline. And it was.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was you in like a two-piece bikini, but it looked almost like a buckskin or some kind of like a loincloth bikini, and you're standing knee-deep in water.
But anyway...
oh, yeah.
Pat
yes,
Vegas...
I made that out of car chamois leather.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
It was for a campaign I did in England. Yes, I just made that, yes.
And if you get wet, you could wipe your car off with it. I mean, it'd be perfect.
But, yeah, definitely. You soak up the water very well.
But Pat Vegas from Redbone saw the picture, and he's like, "Who is that woman? Damn!" He's like, "I love her. I want to be on the interview with you." And I'm like, "No, Pat, you cramp my style. I don't need you here." But,
I love Witch Queen. Do tell him, if you speak to him, Witch Queen of New Orleans. Oh, my gosh, Redbone. I know their music well. They are fantastic. Do tell him.
Excuse me, he will shit. He will.
Mutual admiration. Do tell him. Tell him, please.
We will.
Now, you got a thing with singers. Now, I know you sing, too, right?
Well, I wouldn't really call it that, but I do my best. I try.
And you were...
I did when I was very young. I did a little bit, but I just left my school, and I think it was really my father's friend was head of Decca, and they were looking for a girl who could sing a bit and looked okay.
Uh-huh.
So I sang in the church choir, so they asked me to come along, and I went along, and I did a little record called Tar and Cement. And This Sporting Life was on the back.
Oh,
and we recorded in Abbey Road Studios.
Wow.
My backing, do you know who, I expect I'm telling you, but I'm sure you know, but the backing band, we had Eric Clapton, we had Steve Harvey, we had Ginger Baker and Jack Bruce. So I didn't meet them at that time because they'd already put the music on, but after I heard, I thought, Cream, basically Cream.
Well, yeah. Oh man, I hope I could find that on eBay or something. I would love to hear that.
I think you can. I think you can. It's Tar and Cement, where I sound about 12. I was only 16, and the other one was This Sporting Life, which was the B-side.
Well, as iconic as you were for your movies, you were iconic in music in a way, maybe not as a recording artist because you didn't pursue it, but you were in two of the biggest rock videos of all time, one with Adam Ant and one with Meatloaf.
Oh, yes. It's not funny, I know. That was very strange how I got chosen, but very nice, too. Yeah, I loved working with those two. They were, again, so clever. Adam was he is such a very, very clever man.
Now,
we wanted to pursue his acting.
I have to ask you, Caroline, because I'm a huge Adam Ant fan. Love him.
A lot of ladies are.
Yes, but I have to ask you from woman to woman, because Adam has quite a reputation as being a ladies' man. So, was there any pursuit of Mr. Ant towards you?
Well, he bought me a great big thing of what you called I'm trying to think what you call them, gummy bears, so I'm not sure. Is it gummy bears you have over there?
Yeah.
Great big tub. No, I think he did ask me, but I was with my, I was with my husband to be, so, but he was charming and lovely. He was lovely.
Wow.
He was absolutely, yes, I think he has a little bit of a reputation, or had.
Yeah, a little bit.
But he was a gentleman, a total gentleman, so yes.
Well, it was so iconic. Do you think that American music video helped you get even more roles? I mean, did that help your movie thing?
I don't know, because when was that? That was in the 80s, and I was doing a television sort of quiz show over here at the time. I got lazy, and I met my husband, and I didn't pursue going to America. I could have gone to New York. I had a chance in the 80s to go to New York and do a soap opera. I can't, it's either, I don't know if it's the same one that David did, David Hasselhoff. I'm Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful. I can't remember which one, but it was to sign a 5-year contract, and I thought, no. I had my parents in England and, my husband, so I couldn't do that, really. Right. So I decided not to do that.
Well, I'm not surprised that Pat Vegas thought you're beautiful. He's an American Indian. You kind of have, you kind of could be a gypsy, which you have been at the Earth's Core, and you look like you could be an Indian in one of those movies.
Very exotic look.
What is it? What nationality? I know you're British, but I mean, what lineage do you have in you where you look almost Italian or Indian or gypsy?
There's a mix. There's a mix. Well, my dad's Scottish, but he was born in India. He was actually born in Karachi, so he was born there, but he's Scottish. And his father's Scottish, and his mother was born over there. So dad was, white Scottish, my mum English. So I think there's a little mix of something in there.
Right.
I think there has to be, because my daddy was very blonde with blue-eyed, and then I came out and I wasn't.
Wow.
I was slightly dark. Well, but no, I love the sun. I go in the sun a lot. So I am a mix. I'm a mixture of stuff. Mm-hmm. I think we all are, aren't we? A little mix of everything.
Now, you were known as being one of the only actresses to have signed a long-term contract with Hammer Films. So tell our listeners exactly how that came about. How did you get, quote-unquote, discovered by Hammer? I had done in England a campaign for quite a few years. It was for a rum. It was for a men's dark rum called Lamb's Navy Rum. And they'd done these great big billboards, big posters, all over the place in England, all over the place for this advertising this rum. And it was quite a strong image. I was wearing a wetsuit, a diver's suit, and I had come out of the water, and I had the knife in my thigh, and I suppose the image was quite sort of strong, and it was the James Ferreras at Hammer Films that wanted to see me, and I'd done quite a bit of work beforehand. I'd worked in Spain, and I'd done a film in Spain with Richard Widmark and Cesar Romero. So I'd been working more or less since I was 17. So by this time I was in my early 20s, so I had a little bit of experience. And really, I went and I had a screen test with the late, wonderful director, Peter Collinson.
Yeah. And
they kind of took me on from there. Hammer thought they were going to find a couple of films that I might be suitable for. So, yeah, that's really how it began.
Well,
I didn't know there was myself and Shane Bryant. I didn't know, I presumed everybody signed a contract. I didn't really realize that.
Well, I suppose it was because of your age, but the House of Gorgon is great because it has 3 ladies from different periods of Hammer history throughout the years, and you were kind of at the end of the Hammer era, where you came in with Dracula AD 1972. Now, when you got to work with Christopher Lee, I heard that Christopher Lee wasn't too happy about playing Dracula anymore because he was in his last 3 films, and he was a little disgruntled. Did you find that?
Not at all. He did not bring that to the set. If he was, you wouldn't have known it, because he was magnificent, and he was one of the main reasons why, you know, I felt so real as my character in that film. You know, he was just magnificent to work with. I really thought I had to step up, even though he didn't do a lot. And we didn't have many scenes together. We only really had one scene together, in fact, in that film. But boy, oh boy, did he bring it to the set without doing much at all. And so I thought, okay, I've got to get up to that. So I found him profoundly helpful, and he was great. What a Dracula! What an amazing Dracula he was, and extremely elegant and charming off set. And we'd sit and we'd chat. I'd sit and do my knitting, and he'd regale these wonderful stories about going to Transylvania and doing all his research, and I'd be sitting there knitting. And I was very young, but yes, how lucky was I to work with him.
I mean,
and indeed Peter too.
Coming in late like you did in Hammer, I would assume you were very aware of the Christopher Lee legacy. I mean, was he like a big icon to you? Yeah.
Oh yes, no, very aware. You know, I was incredibly nervous. To be offered the role as of Laura Bellows in the film, albeit a nice small little role. I kept pinching myself and thinking, well, I can't believe I'm actually here working with these extraordinary people. And then you had the young actors who'd all come out of drama school. You had Stephanie Beacham, you had Michael Kitchen, you had some extraordinary, fantastic actors that have gone on to do great things. And I just thought, well, I'm not quite sure why I'm here, but I'll do my best. That's all you can do, isn't it? Do your best. Watch and learn and do my best. And once I felt very in with the crowd. We kind of hang out together in on the set, and it was, again, I was the new kid on the block.
And really, you know something, you must have did good, because you got to work with Christopher Lee's best friend, the beloved Peter Cushing, who they said was the kindest man ever.
He was the kindest man ever. I didn't do any scenes with him in the Dracula. No. I mean, I obviously met him, and but the next time we did work together was in 1976, I think so, on at the Earth's Core, and we were together every day for 4 or 5 weeks, and that was a joy. So yes, I did get to work with him.
Wow.
Extraordinary, funny, again, charming, and so kind and caring about everybody, and brilliant at what he did. He was. I think a lot of people don't realize that he's done a lot of comedic work. He started out in comedy, and then progressed to because of the look of him. He had a certain look, I think, that he progressed to the films that he did, but an extraordinary, versatile actor. And a lovely man. I know Veronica adored him too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She did. We both did. Yeah, he was just a joy to work with, and how lucky was I. I'm so lucky to have worked with those men, really.
And
very lucky.
Being like all the British folk that was, there I am, American saying folk, American slang, but with all the British
No,
actors,
I like that. It's nice. But
with all the British actors on the film, and then you had an American, Doug McClure. I mean, did he kind of fit in with the rest of you guys?
Oh, he was fabulous. He brought so much life and joy, and he was perfectly cast. If you've ever seen the film, he was perfectly cast as David. He was great. You know, he just brought so much exuberance to the part, whereas we were more sort of staid. And Peter was very funny in the film. Peter was brilliant, but it made a really good trio. Actually, we were like the Three Musketeers. It made a really good trio, I think.
Absolutely. Now, talk to us a little bit, Caroline, about Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter, and being cast in that, because I guess years later, in the DVD commentary, Brian Clemens was talking about how he had cast you because he was looking for someone to play the role kind of like a fiery kind of Raquel Welch. How did you end up getting the role, and did he relay what he had in mind for the role when he cast you?
I think it was the Hammer bosses, to be honest. I don't know that Brian particularly did want me for the role. I don't think he did. I think he wanted, as you say, or Kate O'Mara, somebody a bit more fiery. But I think once I had been cast, really by Hammer, I think his approach was very different because he saw I was a different kind of person. So I was allowed to do it the way I felt it. Mm-hmm. You know, I felt she was very independent. Yes, she was fiery, but not in a outward way. She was more inward and steely, and you know, she. So I think, I don't know, but I adored Brian. Brian is so much my mentor because he put me forward to all sorts of things after we worked in Cronus, and he was a brilliant director, and I don't know why he didn't do more. In fact, his sons are coming along to the showing of on the 25th of February in London. They're coming along. Sam and George Clements are coming along to the showing of Sinbad because his dad wrote the screenplay.
Very good.
So it's a kind of like a family thing in a way. So yes, I suppose he did change his mind, really. Yeah. I think what he wanted was a fiery gypsy, but he didn't get that in me. And I think in a way it was, if you look at the film, and I've seen it recently, they tend to show it quite a lot. And I think it's a very esoteric film, and I think it has a lot of feeling. It's got a gentle humor about it, which Brian had. And I feel it was very much ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah.
I think people didn't kind of get it at the time. But then now they look back on it, there was a lot of references to, all sorts of things that maybe we weren't aware of. And of course the difference was that the women died of age rather than being sucked dry of blood, so drained of blood. So it was very, very different. And I think, and I'm not sure, I don't know, I think Hammer at the time maybe I don't know if they were disappointed with it, but he didn't have the normals, he didn't have the bosoms, and it didn't have it didn't have as much blood. It was a very subtly clever film, cleverly crafted film. I think it's a brilliant film. I look back, and and when I go to the shows, when Martine and Veronica and I go to the shows, always Captain Cronus comes up as being one of their favorites, which is lovely. But that's due to Brian, totally due to Brian's insight. He just did a brilliant thing with the script and with the idea. In fact, they've done a magazine on Cronus. They've done a whole magazine. It's just called Titan Books. Has just done it, and it's a fantastic magazine. And funnily enough, my character's on each of the 4 books so far, which is really weird.
Wow.
But it's just come out in England. I don't know if they have it over there yet. Titan Books.
I don't know what Hammer based on what they should do or if they should do another film, but
they should do a remake. Yeah. They should, but it has to be done in the same. It has to be different, obviously. It has to be modern, but it has to be done in the same way. Because the magic that Brian made with that film, I think, was just so special.
Well, it would be
all
cool.
Shot outside.
It would be cool now,
right.
But it would have been even cooler back then because wasn't it supposed to be a series?
Yes, it was. But I suppose due to maybe, I don't know, it just didn't catch on at the time. It's caught on since. It's gained legs, but at the time it was. But Cronus meant time traveler, so. Yeah. Whether my character would have been in it, I don't know. But the idea was that if it worked, then they were going to do more films.
I've got to ask you.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it definitely is. I've got to ask you because I talked to Martine about nudity in Hammer because it really got into a lot of that. And Martine said she thought that was kind of the downfall of Hammer films. Now, you really stood up against Hammer on the nudity thing, and you really didn't want to do that.
I did. Well, they knew in the beginning that I didn't. They knew in the very beginning, before contracts or before anything. I don't know. For me, it wasn't necessary. For me, it wasn't. I mean, and in Cronus, for all the world, you think I am, but in fact, I'm totally not. So it was just brilliantly done again by Brian and the DP, director of photography. They just did a brilliant job of no editing, no cutting away. It was me as I was, and it was just beautifully shot. I mean, there's a certain scene in the barn with Captain Cronus, and really the cinematographer Ian Wilson did an amazing job in that. He just made it. It just looked so sensual, but not tawdry, and not. It was really well done, and I felt comfortable. The thing is, I felt comfortable. I knew there was going to be a love scene in it. Obviously, there had to be with the two leads. So it was just beautifully shot.
Well, I know that the producers think that nudity is necessary, but the greatest mistake they ever made was to have the nudity in Vampirella, because that stopped you from doing it. And you know something? You really, to me, you look like Vampirella. You look more like Vampirella than any actor I ever would know that could ever play that cartoon magazine part. Are you upset that you didn't get to do it? I mean, it was because of the nudity you didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I didn't really. I think, well, why? You know, why that? Yes, I suppose you're walking around in Stella Star skimpies, but that's kind of okay. But I don't know. I just, to me, it's more. I mean, I'm sure, and I'm not a prude. Oh my gosh, I'm so not a prude. So nudity, it can be, it can be great in the right film.
Right.
But for me, it's more, it's more what you don't see that's more, because what you do see is never matches up to your imagination. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey. So, but no. Then you see some wonderful films. A lot of the films now, of course, there is nudity, and there's no, that's fine, and it works. It can really work so well, and sometimes you can see that it really is totally necessary if it helps the film along. But at that period, at that time period, I don't think. In the 70s, really, it was here, there, and everywhere. You had to do nude. Right. I mean, Glenda Jackson did nude. Everybody did nude. It was the thing that everybody was required to do, and I just didn't want to do it particularly.
Right.
So if I lost roles, then I did.
Well,
now, we would be
something I didn't want to do.
Thank God you didn't do nude, because I wouldn't be alive today. I'd have a heart attack and
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
Now, we would be remiss in this interview if we did not mention the fact that you were a Bond girl, of course, with who is Terry and I know everybody loves the various, Sean Connery and but with our favorite Bond, Sir Roger Moore.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Now, you had actually turned down playing a villainess in another very popular project in order to take your role in The Spy Who Loved Me, right?
Well, I was offered it, yes, but supposedly my agent was approached by Superman and the role of Ursa. Superbly played by Sarah Douglas, amazingly played by her. If I was the casting director of Superman, I would not have chosen me. Believe me, I would not. And I'm not being modest I just wasn't right. It was made for her, that role, with Terrence Stamp. I mean, they were fantastic together. They looked so formidable. But Naomi came along at the same time, and I spoke to my agent, and I said, what do you think? He said, well, we know Bond. Bond has a tried and true record, so I reckon you should do Bond. So
Smart
Bond
move.
I did.
Smart
but
move.
Sarah Douglas, oh my gosh, wow.
Were you friends with Roger Moore? Because I know, if you don't know the story, you get on the set of House of the Gorgon, talk with Veronica, because she was very friendly with him and brought him home to meet Mom and Dad, and they had supper.
Yes.
So did you have relationship?
I didn't bring him home to meet my mum and dad. I didn't bring him home to meet my mum and dad. But no. Oh, very friendly. What a lovely man. No, he just. Oh my gosh, what can you say? The nicest. Again, such a huge, massive, iconic star, and so modest. He was such a modest man. He was very self-deprecating about his acting, and and he was so good. He was brilliant as our Bond, as my Bond.
Yes.
But he was also great in a film called The Man Who Haunted Himself. He was a very gifted actor. He was really very underestimated in his mind.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm really
a huge star and a huge humanitarian.
Well, it's
wonderful.
It's like the song. Nobody does it better. I mean, the song, Carly Simon song. It's true. I loved you in the Avengers episode because that was always a series I loved. The New Avengers. That was iconic.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was written by Brian Clemens.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And then one last question or so before we go. I had heard, and I have to ask because I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and I had heard that there was a rumor, and maybe it's not a rumor, I don't know, but a rumor that you were reported to be a candidate for the co-starring role in a feature film based upon Doctor Who that was never produced. This was supposedly in the 80s. Is there any truth to that?
There was a proposed film. In fact, there were 3 proposed films, Doctor Who films. That was with my husband and his their company. But no, sadly, it didn't go ahead. It sadly didn't get to be. But they'd written the scripts had been written 3 or 4 different times, and they couldn't kind of come to an agreement. I think with the BBC, or the BBC couldn't, and the BBC reneged on the contract. So sadly, it wasn't to be. And I might have been in it. I don't know. I mean, I might have had I wouldn't have been a companion. I might have been a bit of a baddie or something. But yes, it was announced that we were going to do that, and it was really exciting. But sadly, things happen, especially in the film business.
Yes, they do.
Sure.
They really do. So yes, it was possible. But I did get to do a big finish a few years ago, which is the audio radio play.
Yes.
I did that with Peter Davidson.
And
of course, I got to work with my lovely Tom Baker.
Oh,
to me, the best Doctor of all.
I love Tom Baker.
I love him too. I adore him. I got to see him a few months ago, and he's fine. He's good. He's in good form.
Good.
And he had the best hair as any Doctor Who ever.
Yeah, he didn't. That is his real, not a wig. The real hair, the real thing.
We asked him to be on the show, and he couldn't be on the show. But he gave us the most polite turn down I've ever had. Ever. He's so polite.
Did he?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you.
How sweet.
So, aside from the House of the Gorgon, once that's finished, and you probably will do House of the Gorgon 2, 3, and 4.
That would be wonderful.
Are you going to continue to work? I mean, you were starting all
over.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I've got some, other... I've done a few bits. I did a remake in Spain 2 years ago, I think, of Vampires, the original Vampires, which was a Spanish film. And it was shot by a very clever director, Victor Matilano, and I was there. We literally did a day shooting. We did pages and pages of stuff, but we did it actually in a couple of days. So so that came out, I think, but it's quite a strong European film. I love working in Europe. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I've worked with some great people over there.
Well,
wonderful directors.
It's a different time, and fans honor you by coming to conventions and getting your autograph and everything.
Oh.
But I got to ask you, because it's got to be the greatest honor of all time, to know that this was a fundraiser event to make House of the Gorgon, and you guys met your goal. What do you think of the fact of your fans putting up money for the film?
I think that is an extraordinary thing to do. I mean, what dedication and devotion and belief. So I really do hope that we come up to their expectations, the film does. And just to say thank you for all of you out there, you know, wherever you be, where you in America, I know a lot, and in England, so and Europe. So wherever you be, I do hope you enjoy it. I so do, because it's your film, not just our film. It's all our films. It's your film. So let's do it. Let's get it going.
Absolutely.
You're in Los Angeles, aren't you? I'm going to be in Hollywood when am I there? April, I think, at the Hollywood show.
Oh,
something
fantastic.
called the Hollywood show.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm going to be there in April. Yeah, I'm actually with Vanessa Harryhausen. She's coming with. Oh, I'm going with her, but we're stopping over in, I can't remember the dates. The end of April, I think. It's the Hollywood show, so we'll be there.
Well, there's a good place to find out everything about you because you're online, and I believe you have a website and a Facebook page. Is that right?
I do, but I am a technophobe. Being dyslexic, I'm total technophobe, and I rely on my agent and people to do that, and they're so kind that they just do it. So yes, I'm out there. I don't know, CarolineMunro.org.
Yes.
I actually don't know. I'm not sure, but I know it gets done, and I'm very grateful for
Well,
that.
it is. I can let our listeners know that if you want to check out Caroline's website, you can do so by going to CarolineMunro.org. That's exactly right. And
I am right.
You
Good.
are,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, and I think there's links over there that'll take you to her Facebook page as well. So. And then,
that's wonderful.
Of course, don't forget that you can also keep up to date on what's going on with House of the Gorgon by going to their Facebook page as well. Just go to facebook.com and just look up House of the Gorgon, and you'll find it, and you'll see Caroline and her lovely friends all over the page, so you can keep up to date on the status of what's going on with the film as well.
I love Martine so much for helping me to get a hold of you. She said, I've got to talk to her because Caroline doesn't have a computer. So
No, I don't. There's the truth. I am a technophobe. I know. I have a tiny little mobile phone that I'm speaking to you from, and that's it. And I do read books, and I write letters. I physically write letters. I know it's very old school, but I do that.
You know what, Caroline? Sometimes I wish I didn't have a damn computer. So.
Yes, that's the thing. Because you see everyone, you see them on the phones, and they're in the tube trains, and on the buses. Everybody's just addicted to looking at these little screens and things.
Yes.
Rather than having a look around them and saying hello.
Right.
Well, I think you British folk, as I say, can teach us American a few things. We've got all this crap going on with sexual harassment. I don't hear any of that over in England.
I know.
You don't hear that over there.
Well, no. Well, it's starting. I mean, people are standing up, and women are standing up, and men. Hey, it's a two-way thing, I believe.
Yes.
But and they keep saying it's the year of the woman. It's the year of the woman, and which is wonderful. I'm all for equal everything in women and men. We're all human. We all have the same needs and desires and wants and things. So we're all created equal. I do believe that.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you, I thank you for all the entertainment you've given me, your beauty and your character and the people you've gotten to work with and your wonderful husband and your kids that are now grown and everything. You've really been blessed.
I know.
You really have.
Thank you very much. Well, it's lovely to speak. I hope I get to meet you. Maybe. Are you in California?
Yes,
Los Angeles.
We're right by Hollywood.
We're right by Hollywood, not too far.
Oh, you'll have to come and see us when we're at the Hollywood show.
Well, we'll bring Pat Vegas of Redbone with us.
Oh, you so should. You so should. Yeah, that would be great. Mutual admiration.
Well, Caroline,
anyway,
I want to thank you
thank
so
you so much. Lovely questions. Really interesting questions. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for spending some time with us, and I hope you have a
great
Thank you
very much.
Rest of your weekend.
Oh, thank you. And now you can go to bed, can't you?
Yes.
It's your nighttime, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh, have a good sleep. And I'm going to go out and have a nice coffee.
Because if you go to bed, it's going to be that much faster. Time's going to go by, and there's going to be House of the Gorgon. House of the Gorgon. You got to see it. I can't wait. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Be careful in Texas. It's hot. Just eat burritos, and you'll be fine.
Oh, lovely. I can't wait. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Caroline. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.